of devotion. This is lesson number 3, and we still have to finish the group work from yesterday.
Yes.
Right? Are the Chinese ladies here?
I'll start the recording.
Little avatar. Little avatar, Nizaima.
Recording in progress.
Hare Krishna, yes, Maharaj,
Put your camera on, I want to see you. Okay. Meilin, Nizaima.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj,
Okay. Sitala.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Now you can down there. Okay. Right. Okay, so did you do the homework?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So, read out the first question.
I'll share the first question, brother.
Okay, for group A, the first question was what? Oh, you got it?
Just a second, just give me 1 minute. Group A. Yes. Yes, can you see?
I should read. 美玲，我来读，你来回答。A new devotee wants to take initiation from a pure Vaishnava guru who has many disciples in the zone, because he will get better facility after initiation.
So, is that pure devotional service or mixed?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, after we discussion, we have conclusion. We think it's mixed because it's not considered as a pure devotion. There has two situations. One is if the devotee he gets the invitation from Guru, he wants to get the better facility. If he wants to get more association with devotees, he wants to improve his Krishna consciousness, he wants to do more better service for Krishna. We think it's good, it's pure devotion. But if he wants to get the material facility, he wants to have a bigger community, he wants to do some like business, he wants to do some material things in the community. It's not pure devotion of our Krishna.
Okay. All right. Does everybody agree? Number 1, not pure devotion. Yes? Okay, number 2. Sitala, read.
First time temple pujari accepts finished maintenance from the temple for his grihastha maintenance.
Okay, a full-time temple pujari accepts financial maintenance from the temple for his grihastha maintenance. Is that pure devotion? Or not? Sitala? Is this pure devotion?
Yes, Maharaj.
Why?
Because Pujari doing the seva for deities, he just accept money for maintaining his grihastha life.
Okay, I agree. Everybody agree? Everyone agrees? Okay. Number 3. Millen?
A devotee daily cooks offering of voga for the deity in the temple, and he often burns the preparation. This we think is Sita. It's pure devotion or mixed. Sita. 我们最后讨论是混合在一起的还是纯粹的呀？因为 Guru 有说是混合的，当时我们讨论的是混合的意思。
Maharaj, we are not sure because he cook daily for deities. This is pure devotion to the service, but he always burnt bogas, so I don't know how much love he had.
Right, I agree. Not very pure devotion. If he burns every day, burning a food every day, all the time burning, it's not good. Means he's not thinking of Krishna. Not doing very proper cooking, not good cooking. And so if every day is cooking, his cooking should improve. He should become expert. But if he's often burning, that means he's not taking care. He's not cooking nicely for Krishna. So he's not thinking of Krishna very well. So not pure devotion. Okay? Alright, number 4, little avatar. Little avatar.
Oh, I'm sorry. Grihastha devotee regularly bases the feet of Vaishnava, visiting his home. We think it's pure devotion.
Why?
Because he is, this is Vaishnava etiquette. He is serving devotees which is very dear to the Lord.
If the devotee allows to bathe their feet, not everybody wants to get their feet bathed.
Yes.
So what they do in India is not what they do everywhere. In China we couldn't do that.
Yes.
Right? But in India,
Yes.
in India you may do that. You may want to bathe the feet of the devotee. Okay, very good. Okay, group B. Thank you, group A. Now group B. Yes, Mataji? Dandavat pranams.
Maharaj,
Read the question.
question is, a devotee makes life members because he can keep 10% of his collection for his own use. So Maharaj, we discussed that it is not pure devotional service because that devotee has some motive or some desire which is not for Krishna, but it is for his own personal use. And it does not come under Tadatsa Lakshana and Swarup Lakshana because it's not done for Krishna and not to satisfy Krishna. So it's not pure devotional service.
Okay. Yes, good. I agree. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Number 6.
A grihastha devotee works in an office to maintain his family, who are all Vaishnavas. Maharaj, we think that this is also a devotional service because the devotee is working to maintain his family, who are also Vaishnavas or devotees, and his and the goal is to satisfy Krishna, and his service is centered towards Krishna.
So is it pure devotion?
Yes, Maharaj, please.
Yeah, well, he's working just to maintain his family. Does he do anything for Krishna? I don't know. We don't know. He's working, he's making money. Does all the money go to the family? He doesn't give anything to Krishna? If all the money goes just for the family, and there's nothing for Krishna, That's not
Hare
pure.
Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So what we assumed was that since it says his family members are also Vaishnavas, a Grihastha devotee works in an office to maintain his family who are all Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavas are devotees of the Lord, and in Swarupa Lakshana we also saw that Krishna's pure devotees are also a part of Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. The Krishna includes Krishna and his pure devotees. So we assumed that because it's mentioned as Vaishnavas, they are pure devotees, and that is the reason we thought it could be pure devotional service.
Yeah, but it depends. If he gives 100%, if all the money goes on the family, then he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't give any money to temple. He doesn't give any charity. Then that would be a problem, right? If all the money just goes on the family, and you don't have any money to give to anybody else, you don't give any money to temple, you don't give any money to sannyasi, you don't give any money to guru, it's not very good. There should be some. Rupa Goswami, when he retired, he divided the money. He didn't give all the money to the family, right? And Prabhupada talked about people who go to Vrindavan, they retire in Vrindavan, and they give all their money to the family. And they come to Vrindavan, they have no money. But they give all their money to their family. That's not pure devotion. So we have to consider carefully. Okay, what about number 7?
Grihastha devotee performs Sarvadana Samskara in order to beget Krishna conscious children. Maharaj, we discussed that this is also pure devotional service because, like we discussed yesterday, the Grihastha devotee brings with the intention to serve Krishna in order to beget Krishna conscious children, and it is pleasing to Krishna. And yes, Maharaj, we said that it's also pure devotional service.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I think it is pure devotion. Krishna says, I am that sex life which is not against religious principles. So, yes, it's pure devotion. All right, number 8.
Okay, a devotee gives a picture of Goddess Kali on his altar because he can bestow wealth on worshippers. So, Maharaj, we discussed that this is not a devotional service because it is not centered towards Krishna at all. He has a motive. He has a motive so that he can get wealth if he worships Goddess Kali.
Yes, right. It's not pure devotion.
So it's not
Right. We don't worship Kali, we don't worship the demigods, and we don't worship for material desires. Okay, very good. Go on, group number C.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Oh wait, can you read the question for us? Number 1? Oh, number 9?
Number 9, a Sankirtan devotee regularly cleans his vehicle at the car wash because he considers the vehicle Krishna's property. This one we discussed, it is pure devotional service because the car vehicle is Krishna's property, it's Krishnanu, it's Krishna's paraphernalia. So it's related to Krishna, so then we think it's pure devotional service.
Okay. Yeah. Might be better if he washed it himself rather go to the car wash. That's the lazy way to clean the car, right? You pay other people to clean the car for you. I don't know. You're paying other people to clean the car. You stand back and watch them clean the car.
We should think about that.
Okay, number 10.
A guest visits a temple and gives a donation for the Seva Puja of the deity. This one we're discussing, you yourself mentioned yesterday as well, that this is not pure devotional service. We weren't sure which exactly category it fit in. We were thinking maybe it's anushilanam. It's not constant cultivation or activity following the Buddhas or Acharyas. He's only every now and then giving the donation when he goes to Diti. We don't know what else he's doing outside of that.
Yes, it may be something like a gyata sukriti, doing some pious activity. And we don't know what his motive is in giving donation.
So this one was not pure devotion service, we discussed.
Yeah.
And 11, a devotee keeps a picture of Nrsimhadev on his altar because he can remove obstacles in devotional service. This one we weren't sure at first, but we discussed it is pure devotional service. Nrsimhadev is pleased to remove the obstacles in devotional service. When we thought it's anukulyena, Krishna gets pleasure from it, and it's also favorable to Krishna consciousness. It's favorable to devotional service.
Okay, everybody agree? Yes? Yeah, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, good. Yes, number 12.
A brahmachari attends Mangalartika every day because he wants to maintain his position on the temple council. This one we discussed is not pure devotional service. He has his own personal motive. It's anya bilasita sunyam. He wants to become something in the temple council, some his own position. So it's not pure devotional service.
Okay, everybody agree?
Yes.
Agree?
Yes,
Okay. All right, very good, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes. Okay, group D. D. Yes. Number 13.
Number 13. A devotee performs fasting every Ekadashi because he may receive the boon of getting a son. No, this is not a pure devotional service, because he has because he has a desire. He is doing the fasting only for in return of some fruits. That's why it's not a pure devotional service.
Agree?
Krishna Maharaj, but
Yeah.
if the son is, same thing as we discussed in the previous, if he does the Garbhadana Samskara, all that is not given over here, but then if he does it in order to get a Krishna conscious child, then maybe...
What I think here is, because he's only desiring for the son. He's desiring for a son, that's why he's doing Ekadashi. Once the son is born, he will not do Ekadashi. Okay.
Yeah, certainly some material motive there. He wants the son.
Anyways, next one, a devotee collects donations and regularly perform festival for the Lord in his temple at home. Actually, Maharaj, we had two different views, me and Sashikant Prabhu. What I thought is, yes, if he is collecting money and spending it for the pleasure of Krishna, maybe at a temple at his home, it's okay. But Sashikant Prabhu feels that no, it's not pure devotional service. We are a bit confused with this.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Shashikant. Why is not pure devotional service? What's his reason?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, the principle is that Grihastha, they are supposed to give charity, not to accept charity. So when they are receiving donation, and the donation is totally meant for the temple service, not for the personal use, even for the dating at home. They should spend their own money for services for the dating at their homes.
Yes, it's true. Grihastas, he's collecting donations for his own festival in his house. So people come for the festival and they're thinking, oh, he's so pious. But he went, well, of course he did, he had to go and collect the donations.
But he's spending the 100% for the pleasure of Krishna.
Is he?
The question says that.
Doesn't say that. Doesn't say that.
Okay.
We don't know. We don't know what he's doing. It certainly could be controversial.
Yes.
A devotee collecting donations does a festival in his own home. You don't know. Has that devotee got money himself? You know, he's having the festival in his home. So everybody's coming to his home, and they're thinking, oh, this man's so nice. But he collected all the money from other people. Of course, he had to go and collect it. He had to go and get it.
Yes.
So, sometimes it can be a problem. And we don't know, is there a temple in the area? Is there another temple nearby? Is there?
Here is said for the Lord.
What did you say?
In this question, it is said.
We cannot hear you. You have a problem with your microphone?
My internet is unstable.
Yes, I know.
It's for the Lord, I think.
Yes, festival.
In the question, it is very obvious for the Lord.
Yeah, it's a festival for the Lord, but it's in the temple at home, his own temple at home. So you're going.
Actually, Maharaj, if that person maybe he's having a temple at home, but he's not financially that much sound to perform the expenses for the festivals and all.
Yes, but is getting donations from other people. So you don't know how much he's spending, how much he's collecting, and how much he's spending for the festival.
That's also true.
You don't know. And he's doing the festival at home. So he'll buy the boga, and so, you know, see, probably it's better you do a festival at home, you can invite people to come, and you can ask them, bring a preparation with you. You bring one preparation with you, and we will have the festival. But if you ask people, give donation, and then you take the money from them, they don't know how you're spending the money. They don't know how much money you're collecting and how you're spending the money. But if you ask them, if you ask people, you come to my home and you can bring one preparation with you, and then that's nice. And then you can share the preparations. But when it's money, when you're involved with money, then it's a problem. There has to be accounts. You're collecting money, you're taking money from people. How much money are you spending? Where is the money going? That's the problem.
Krishna Maharaj?
Yes?
Maharaj, can we look at this as a way to purify others' money also? So maybe this person is, he is a Vaishnava, he's doing the festivals, and the others may not be devotees. So in case he collects money from them and then uses it for maybe flowers or cooking, the others may not be qualified enough to cook for the Lord. So in that case, is it okay to think that they are he is helping in their sukriti and he is purifying their money? So is it okay to think like that?
Well, like I say, when money is involved, you have to be very careful. You have to show everything. You have to put the account, show how much money you collected. You can show even the name of each person, what they gave, and how much money you collected, and how you spent it. You have to be very clear about everything. You're asking money from people, that's a responsibility. So you have to show that that money has been used properly for the service of Krishna. Now if you can't show that, then they will have doubts. We don't know, how much did you collect? You know? How much did you collect? How much did you spend? You say you're the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava, just because you come and you ask donation, you ask them donation for the festival. So if you're asking donation for the festival, you have to spend the money for the festival. You have to show how you spent it. So you want flowers, you can ask them, can you bring some flowers? Why you have to ask money from people? You see, some people, what they do, they get the money, then they go to the market and they beg the flowers. They beg the flowers, they get the flowers donated. Then say, oh, but we got all these flowers, we got all these vegetables, they got them all donated in the market. It's a little tricky. Okay, anyway, number 15.
15. Yeah. A devotee regularly performs yogasana to keep himself fit for preaching Krishna consciousness. I think this comes under Anushilan. Okay, because he's keeping himself fit because he wants to preach for Krishna. This is pure devotion.
Well, can't you get fit dancing in the kirtan?
Yes.
Why doesn't he just go and dance in the kirtan? You can get fit there. Go on Harinam, get fit, dancing in the streets. Why he has to do yoga asanas? You want to keep fit, go out and sing kirtan. You get fit. What do you say?
Yes, very true, very true.
Because he's good at it. It's easy for him to perform yogasana.
What's that got to do with Krishna consciousness? Huh? What has that got to do with, he's good at yoga, is that good for Krishna consciousness?
But here it is said, keep fit for preaching.
Well, I say keep fit, go on Harinam, go on Sankirtan, go and dance in the kirtan.
And another consideration is,
Huh?
suppose another consideration is that the person has some problem and the doctor has recommended that you should go through these exercises. And so is that okay in that case?
Well, you can tell the doctor, you can ask the doctor, can I go for Harinam Sankirtan? It's not yoga asanas, it's not the only way to keep fit. There are many ways to keep fit. Okay, number 16. Read.
An ISKCON guru travels to Middle East for preaching because Indian people there can donate more money than people in India. So this is no. This is a pure no, because he has a motive behind it.
But his motive is for Krishna. It's going to give the money for Krishna. The money is all going to Krishna.
But Maharaj, here this motivation is not very much clear that purpose is to preach Krishna consciousness. Here the motivation is to collect more money.
Wow. You need money for the temples, right? You got to build the temple. Look at all the temples we have in India. Where did they get the money?
Yeah. Maharaj, if you preach properly, then automatically money will come.
Well, it comes a lot quicker in the Middle East. You know, How do you think they distribute so many books in Mayapur? How do Mayapur devotees distribute so many books? The money that is sponsored by people in the Middle East. They give the money to distribute.
So yes, Maharaj, if we are taking money and then in reciprocation we are taking care of their Krishna consciousness in that proportion, then it's okay.
Yes.
It's not that just taking money and then neglecting their spiritual life and not taking care of and only believing.
No, we agree. We see there's many devotees here in Mayapur. They come from the Middle East. They were in the Middle East and then they came and retired in Mayapur, took up service in the Middle East, took up service here in Mayapur. Before they were working in Middle East. And they came back to Mayapur to retire, to do service. And so they make devotees. But yeah, we shouldn't just think only to make money. We preach everywhere, we go everywhere for preaching. And Prabhupada in the beginning, a devotee wanted to go to Bangladesh and Nepal. And Bangladesh and Nepal, you know, quite poor, very poor, even poorer than India. So Prabhupada gave money. Prabhupada said, I will give money to help the preaching. Every month Prabhupada would give money for the preaching there. They wanted them to go to poor country, Bangladesh and Nepal. Wherever you can get results, you should go. If you get results, that's the main thing. All right, so I hope that was useful for everyone. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so we'll go ahead now. We're going on to lesson 3. All right, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. 6 characteristics of devotional service. Oh, a lot of Sanskrit. A lot of Sanskrit. All right. 6 characteristics of devotional service. We're going to explain all of these 6 words. We'll explain them one by one. Right? Klesh Agni Subhada Moksha Laguta Krit Sudurlabha Sandra Nandana Vishesh Atma and Sri Krishna Karshini. Right? So the first one. Oh, by the way, did you all get Waves of Devotion?
Yes.
Yes, we received.
You received it? Okay.
Yes.
You'll find it useful. It's very helpful. Try to read it. Okay, so first word, Klesh Agni. Klesh Agni. Pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. All right, are you ever in distress?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, Maharaj.
Really? Just a little bit, right?
Yes. Prior to coming to Krishna consciousness, was very much in distress. Now the distress fades away very soon.
Oh, good. Good. Very nice. Okay. So, devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. But you have to, it says pure devotional service, right? So you have to make sure your devotional service is pure. That's the point. There is a quality. There's a quality in devotional service. There is quality in, just like quality in cooking. Somebody cooks and they burn the offering. Every time they burn the food. not very good. Everything burned. So pure devotional service will bring immediate relief. We have to do the service very pure. Okay? Next word, Shubhada. Shubhada. Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Auspiciousness. Do you know this word? Sitala?
Yes, Maharaj.
Auspiciousness. 怎么说？中文？
一切吉祥的开始。
影响。
好，很好。Very good. Yes. So this is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Next word, moksha lagutta krit. Those in pure devotional service deride even the conception of liberation. Deride, I mean, they don't even care about it. We don't even care about that liberation. Why would we care about liberation? No, why? Because we have devotional service. So devotional service is much greater than liberation. Right? We don't care for liberation. We only want Krishna's service. Next word, Sudurlabha. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. Oh, see, rarely achieved. Not so easy to get it. You make it sound so nice, but then we say, very difficult to get, very rare. Right? So we have to understand it's something very special, very valuable. Sandrananda Vishesh Atma. Pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. Pure devotional service puts one in transcendental pleasure. So when we do pure service, we will feel pleasure, we will feel very happy in serving Krishna. And then final one, Sri Krishna Karshini. Pure devotional service, the only means to attract Krishna. How to attract Krishna? Pure devotional service. Nothing else. Not mixed devotional service. Must be pure. Okay? So, sadhana bhakti. We are doing sadhana bhakti. What does sadhana mean? Means you follow the regulative principles. What are the regulative principles of bhakti? Milin? Do you know?
Regular sadhana is chanting 6 rounds and follow 4 principles and go to Mangala Arati, get up early, go to Mangala Arati, chanting
Yeah.
6 rounds at least.
Yes, good. Good. Go to Mangalarti, worship Tulsi, see the deities, hear Srimad Bhagavatam. This is sadhana bhakti, right?
I have a question about the go to Mangala Arati. In this situation, where I'll say online Mangala Arati, where join the online Mangala Arati is okay, or we also need to go to the temple?
No, you can go online. Yeah, that's also good. Because COVID, yeah, it's not very safe. If you go online, it's also good.
Okay.
Of course, some people, they just lay in bed, they turn on television, open the eyes, and then after Mangalarti, then they close the eyes again, go back to sleep. Right? That's not very... sadhana means we're supposed to wake. Prabhupada said everyone should get up by 4 o'clock in the morning. Supposed to get up by 4 o'clock in the morning, take bath, and then, okay, then you turn on your computer. You can watch Mangalarti on computer if you like. You can do that. It's not as good as going to temple, but it's okay. Alright, so sadhana bhakti, first of all, okay. So there are two. This is sadhana bhakti. There are 3 kinds of bhakti, right? This is sadhana bhakti. After sadhana bhakti, then bhava bhakti. And after bhava bhakti, then what? Prema bhakti, right? Prema bhakti. So first is sadhana bhakti. You do sadhana bhakti, then you come to bhava bhakti. And then from bhava bhakti, then you come to prema bhakti. So sadhana bhakti means devotional service in practice. We're practicing. So first of all, you get klesh agni, meaning relief from all the distress, relief from all the misery, the anxiety of material life. And shubhada means the beginning of all auspiciousness, making everything auspicious. So these are the 2 things which you get when you do sadhana bhakti. These 2 things. This is a benefit which comes when you do bhakti, sadhana bhakti. Now bhava bhakti. You see, bhava bhakti, you get 4 things. The first 2 was there in the bhava and sadhana bhakti. The first 2 were there before. Relief from distress, the beginning of auspiciousness. But then 2 more are added. You get moksha laguta krit, meaning you don't even care about liberation. And sudurlabha. Sudurlabha means, remember what it means? Rarely achieved. Huh?
Not very easily.
Very rare, yeah. Right. So, those 4 benefits in bhava bhakti. Now, prema bhakti, right? We had sadhana bhakti, 2 benefits. Bhava bhakti, 4 benefits. Prema bhakti, 6 benefits. 6 benefits we've got. First of all, klesh agni, relief from distress. Subhada, beginning of auspiciousness. Moksha laguta krit, surpasses liberation. Sudurlabha, rarely achieved. Now we've got 2 more. Sandrananda Vishesh Atma, meaning puts one in transcendental pleasure, transcendental bliss. And Sri Krishna Karshini. Sri Krishna Karshini means the only way to attract Krishna. You cannot attract Krishna any other way. Okay? So those are the 6 characteristics. We're going to speak about these 6 things this morning. We want to understand them, the benefits we get. All right? Klesh Agni. First of all, Klesh Agni. Klesha means material suffering. Right? do you know do you know the three kinds of suffering we get in material world?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, you can tell us, Mataji.
Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika and Adi Daivika.
Yes.
Adhyatmika is sufferings out of our own body and mind. Adi Bhautika is sufferings inflicted due to other living entities. And Adi Daivika is sufferings due to demigods or natural calamities.
Yes, very good, right. So klesha, there's Adi Atmic klesha, Adi Daivik klesha, Adi Bhautik klesha. Three different kinds of suffering. All material. There's only suffering in the material world. In the spiritual world, there's no suffering. So, the material suffering, we're all suffering material life. But devotional service destroys the suffering, will stop the suffering. We say pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. Just like, oh, you may say, oh, I'm suffering material distress. I have no money. So, what kind of misery is that? Is that Adi Bhautik, or Adi Admik, or Adi Daivik? What do you say, Mataji?
I think it is Adhyatmik, Maharaj.
Adi Admik, misery due to the body? Yeah?
It could be Adi Daivik Maharaj also, because if someone, suppose in some climate industry, it can be like earthquake, and all these things. If someone loses his property, so then he becomes distressed.
If it's earthquake, then what kind of suffering is it?
This is Adi
Daivik.
Adi Daivik, right, yeah. So that also puts us in material distress. If there's earthquake, then your house falls down, you have no house to live in, you'll feel very bad. So material suffering is there. Okay, so here's the quote. Somebody like to read for us? Who's going to read?
May I?
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Kleshagni. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna once, a person is relieved from all the reactions of a sinful life. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 15.107.
Okay, so this is the power of chanting the holy name. Of course, you have to chant good. You have to chant carefully. You have to do pure chanting. Then you get free from all. Because why are we suffering? We're suffering because of reactions due to sinful life. Because we do sinful things, we get reactions. And that causes us to suffer. But when you chant, then it gets free suffering. Go ahead, read more.
When a person circumambulates Srimati Tulsi Devi, all the sins he may have committed are destroyed at every step, even the sin of killing a Brahmana.
Now, if you kill a Brahmana, that's a bad sin. That's very serious. You get a lot of punishment for that. But if you go around Tulsi, then you get free of that sin. Right? When we go around Tulsi, we chant the song, Yani kani chapapani brahmahatya dikani cha tani tani pradashante pradakshena pade pade. So there are a lot of sins in the material world. We can suffer a lot. But if we do devotional service, we can save ourselves from all the sin. Read, Prabhu.
But then we read in the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 10, expecting the Lord's mercy, paragraph 2, a devotee should not expect immediate relief from the reactions of his past misdeeds.
Oh, well, I thought we could get free immediately. Now you're saying we cannot. It takes more time. And
a devotee who is not perfectly freed from the resultant action should therefore continue to act in Krishna consciousness seriously, even though there may be so many impediments.
So, even though we're not yet pure devotees, we should keep acting. We should try to be a devotee. There may be many problems, but we don't give up. We keep going on.
Then again, there are statements like Krishna's statement, Sarva dharma parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebho mokshayami masuja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 18.66.
So Krishna is telling, just surrender and I will free you from all the sins. So it sounds like if we surrender, we get free immediately from all the sins.
Srila Prabhupada has extended Krishna's statement in Bhagavad Gita to the spiritual master who is Krishna's representative, that if you surrender to the spiritual master at the time of initiation, you become free from all sinful reactions.
Jai. So if you get initiation and you're serious, you surrender, then you become free from all sinful reactions. What happened to all the sinful reactions?
So, which is it?
So which is it?
Are we actually free from all sinful reactions immediately when we surrender, or do we gradually become free?
So, what do you say? Are you free from all sinful reactions? What do you say, Sudarshan?
Yes, if we surrender to Krishna or spiritual master, we are immediately free.
That depends how we surrender.
Exactly.
Krishna said, as you surrender, I reward you accordingly.
Accordingly, yes.
So, it depends on our surrender. Yes?
Srila Prabhupada has given some other hints which could help us resolve this question. He has said that when the devotee surrenders to Krishna, Krishna will take charge of the devotee's sinful reaction and use the devotee's sinful reactions for the best benefit of the devotee. Giriraj Swami in a VIHE Nectar of Devotion class.
Yeah. That was in the beginning when we began classes in Vrindavan, before Mayapur, before MIHE. We only had VIHE. So Giriraj Maharaj used to come and give class. He would give class on Nectar of Devotion. So when the devotee surrenders to Krishna, Krishna will take charge of the sinful reactions and use the devotee's sinful reactions for the benefit of the devotee. Oh. How can we understand that? How can we be benefited by sinful reactions? Well, we should understand that the sinful reactions help us to understand our real position. Sinful reactions, they're like a punishment. So punishment is for the benefit of the devotee. Krishna punishes us to help us to surrender more. Go ahead.
Because in his mind, a devotee may still maintain the remnants of his previous sinful mentality, the Lord removes the last vestiges of the enjoying spirit by giving his devotee punishment that may sometimes resemble sinful reaction. Although a devotee has to surrender to the Lord's devotional service until he is completely perfect in Krishna consciousness, he may maintain a slight inclination to enjoy the false happiness of this world.
All right? But in our mind, the devotee, we still have some thinking about the past, about bad habits we had maybe before we became a devotee. So you still have that, you still sometimes remember what you did before you were a devotee. Maybe you used to smoke cigarettes, or maybe you used to go to drink or eat meat, like that. So that desire, this thought may be in the mind. But Krishna gives us punishments. And it's like reactions. The punishments Krishna gives are like a reaction. The devotee is surrendered to Krishna until we're completely perfect. He may maintain a slight inclination, with a little bit we desire to enjoy the material world. So we've surrendered to Krishna, but we're not completely perfect in Krishna consciousness. So we still have a little attraction, a little attachment to the material world. So Krishna wants to take that away.
The Lord therefore creates a particular situation to eradicate this remaining enjoying spirit. This unhappiness suffered by a sincere devotee is not technically a karmic reaction. It is rather the Lord's special mercy for inducing his devotee to completely let go of the material world and return home back to Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.8 purport.
Thank you, Prabhu. Well, yes, so Krishna wants to take away that little bit of desire which we have to enjoy the material world. So Krishna gives us suffering. So that unhappiness which we get, it's Krishna's mercy. It's not karma. Right? When you're suffering, Sitala, when you're suffering, it's Krishna's mercy.
Yes.
Just to help you let go of the material world. Because you're very attached to the material world. So Krishna wants you to go back to Godhead. So he gives you suffering. Not karma. You don't have any karma. Why? Because you surrendered to Krishna. So Krishna took away all your karma. Now what happens if you give up Krishna consciousness and go back to material life? Then your karma will come again. You'll get all your karma back and you'll get suffering. It will be very miserable for you.
With bonuses.
Okay. Yes, read.
Tribulations imposed upon the devotees by the Lord constitute another exchange of transcendental bhava between the Lord and the devotees. Tribulations offered by the Lord to his devotee are different from the tribulations resulting from vicious actions. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.19 purport.
So there's two kinds of suffering. One suffering comes from Krishna, and one comes from our karma. So when we suffer by the grace of Krishna, that's not like our suffering from the karma. So
Krishna is the cause of difficulties for his devotees in order to increase their devotion. Srila Vaishnava Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.19.
okay, very good. Okay, here's a nice verse.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
Maharaj, I had a question. Like Krishna putting his devotee in tribulation to bring them closer to him. So when this point starts, Maharaj, if Can we say that if someone starts chanting 60 round and following 4 major principles, so from that point on, Krishna starts interfering in that way, or when?
Sorry, your voice is not clear enough, Prabhu.
Okay. Maharaj, I was saying that here it is being mentioned that Krishna, he imposes a tribulation upon his devotees just to, that is another kind of exchange between him and his devotees. And purpose of that is to bring that devotee closer to him. So my question was, Maharaj, when Krishna starts that dealing, so it's from the point of when person starts following 4 principles and chanting 60 rounds, or what is the starting point? From where Krishna starts that?
From when you surrender to Krishna.
Okay. Okay.
And Krishna said, as you surrender, He rewards you accordingly. So when you fully surrender, then Krishna will really take care. Right?
Okay. So it is possible before initiation also, Maharaj?
Huh?
It is possible before initiation also?
Yes? Possible? It's possible, definitely. Because you started chanting, you started doing service to Krishna, you may not be initiated, but your relationship is there. You're connected to Krishna. Right? Prabhupada said, our Krishna consciousness begins when we start chanting. Just like Milin is not initiated yet, and Shashikant also is not initiated yet, but they're both doing devotional service. They're both chanting, they're both studying Prabhupada's books, so Krishna's taking care of them. Krishna's helping them.
Maharaj, I have read in one of Prabhupada's book, where Prabhupada writes that if you read my book daily for 2 hours, you are automatically initiated.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay, so it's a very good thing to do. Read for 2 hours every day. Right? Little Avatar, you're reading 2 hours every day?
No.
Huh?
No, not every day 2 hours.
Why not? What are you doing?
Less than 2 hours. Maybe 1 hour, half an hour.
What are you doing all day? You've got the whole day. There's 24 hours every day. You don't have 2 hours to read Prabhupada's books.
I will try my best to insist the reading.
Yes. I thought you were
Okay.
I thought you were reading 6 or 8 hours a day.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
About our reading, actually, I really want to reading every day 2 hours, but I accept too much other seva, like cook for Papa disciple and sannyasis, and so many different guests come to our home, and so many different things I should do. If I cannot do sadhana bhakti nicely, so I cannot accept too much seva, yeah?
Well, I didn't know you're cooking for sannyasis. You never cooked anything for me.
But I want to cook, you have so many cook.
No.
The six-
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
Yes, I will try to cook for you. This is my place.
Yeah, okay, very good, yeah. But anyway, I want you to read Prabhupada's books. That's more important. Don't worry about me. You read the books. That's very good. You try.
But I have a lot of time for listening the letters when I'm in the kitchen for cook.
Oh, when you go in the kitchen, you play the tape. You listen to the recording.
Yes, lot of time listening because I'm in kitchen cutting vegetable.
Very good, yes. Okay.
Thank you, man.
So Krishna is the cause of difficulties for his devotees in order to increase their devotion. So the difficulties are to increase our devotion. We have to remember that. When we get difficulties, this is Krishna's mercy. Krishna wants to make us a better devotee. Right?
Maharaj, I have a question on this.
Yeah?
Like, where we were practicing, and we are practicing in Shiliguri ISKCON Mandir. Yeah, I have seen a lot of people, few Matajis I have seen, who were very much devoted. Every day they used to pluck flowers, make flower bouquets for Radha Krishna and all. But something happened in their family, and that Mataji was saying that I'm very angry on Krishna. I was serving for Krishna so much, and he is not looking, so I'll not do seva. So she is not doing seva for last 2-3 months.
Why did she stop doing seva?
Because she is having some family issues with her husband and all, and she said that I'm doing seva for Krishna and Krishna is not looking after me. So she...
Well, she has to take care of her family. That's also important, you know. You know, sometimes people are very neglectful. They don't, you know, you have to do both duties. You have your duty to Krishna, you have to also do your duty to your family. You know, it's important. You know, if you go to some town and the lady comes and brings you a flower garland and she said, I made this garland for the Guru, and then the husband comes and the husband said, you know, my wife went and made that garland for the Guru. She didn't cook any supper for the family. She didn't cook any food for the family. Our children came home from school, there's no food. And I came home from work and there's no food. And my wife, what's she done? She went to get the flowers to make the garland for the Guru. So that's not good. That's a problem. Right? So yeah, they have to be careful about these things. Yeah, it's a problem. People have duties to do. They have to do both. Service to Krishna and service for their family. It should not be neglectful. Prabhupada said a devotee is not neglectful. Just like the husband. The husband, he has to maintain the family. He cannot give all the money to the temple and no money for the family. So there has to be some take care of both. You should not be neglectful. You should not be careless. Otherwise, you get problems. So that lady, she got a problem. She didn't take care of her home. The husband was upset.
Yeah, actually her husband is a non-devotee and her husband is totally against her coming to the temple.
Yeah, well, there are many husbands like that. It's a big problem everywhere. We get that everywhere. But, yeah, you know, yeah, so she has to be careful herself. She knows, you know. She knows her husband's not a devotee. And if she's still coming to temple, then it's her fault. It's not temple's fault. You know, it's her. She has to take care. All right, we'll go ahead. Here's the verse. It's a famous verse. For those of you who know verses, who like to study verses, this is a famous verse. It's not very nice to remember, but you should remember. Krishna says, when I am very kind to someone, my dear Lord, one who waits for you to bestow your mercy upon him, all the while suffering the reactions and offering you obeisances, then he becomes eligible for liberation. It's his claim. So it means even though you're suffering, you're in difficulty, but you don't give up doing devotional service, then you can get liberation. That's the point. Okay? You don't need this for Bhakti Sastri, but in the Bhakti Vaibhav you would need this more. This is not for the... You don't need to remember this verse just now, but it's there. Okay. Someone read?
Yeah. And shall I read or something?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
And all these stages of vicious life, sinful reactions, become at once switched off by adoption of the devotional service. It appears that the process of extinction goes under gradual process, but actually it is stopped at once. The example of switching off of an electric fan is quite suitable here. The running fan, after being switched off, runs also for a few seconds by the dint of the original force, but actually the power of the movement is already stopped. Back to Godhead Magazine, 1944, Volume 1, Part 1 to 4.
1944, wow, that's a long time ago. Huh? All right, so Prabhupada talks about vicious life, sinful reactions. So, why do we get sinful reactions? Yes? Sudarshan, why do we get sinful reactions?
We get sinful reactions so that gradually we can get out of this material desires and material things and go back.
Yes, and
cleanse ourselves to go to Krishna.
And what were we doing? What activities do we do to get sinful reactions?
What activities?
Yeah, what do we need to, what things do we do? You know, what kind of activities do you have to do to get sinful reactions? Why? Does everybody get sinful reactions?
No, not everybody gets sinful reactions. Like when we surrender to Krishna, and
Yes?
It's because someone commits sin, so because
Yes,
he gets sinful.
right.
Oh.
So what are sins? What kind of activity, what do you do to get sins?
The activities which are against the intention of scriptures,
Like what?
like this mainly we have been committing these four negative principles. When we don't follow, then they constitute sinful action, like meditating,
Yes.
intoxication.
Yes, right.
slaughtering.
Yeah, these things, right. If we break the regulator principles, we do sinful life, then we get reactions. We suffer. But if we take up devotional service, then devotional service stops all the sinful reactions. Of course, it has to be pure devotional service. So the example is given, you turn off the fan, but the fan still runs, it's still going around a bit. So, the sinful reactions are like that. They're still going a bit. It just takes some time, but gradually it will stop. All right? So,
three causes of suffering. Klesha tu papam tad bijam avidya cheti te tridha.
okay, so here you can see the stages of suffering. Oh, wait. 3 causes of suffering. Here's the suffering. What's the cause of suffering? Sinful reactions. You do sinful things, you get... Why do we do sinful things? Why do we do sinful actions? Because material desires. Right? Do you have any material desires?
In condition state, Maharaj, yes.
Do you have material desires, Sudarshan?
For a condition, so
Yes,
You have
everything is not yet gone. We have few material desires.
Yes, we have material desires, right? And why do we have material desires? Because ignorance, avidya. We have material desires because of ignorance. Ignorance is the root cause. The cause of our suffering, ignorance. What are we ignorant about?
We are ignorant about Lord. We are ignorant about Krishna.
Yes. What else are we ignorant about?
Our relationship with Krishna.
Yes, we're ignorant about our relationship with Krishna. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten why we're here in this world. We're thinking, I'm here to enjoy. I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to have sense gratification. And sense gratification means eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We're thinking, this is my enjoyment. So, we should remember this thing. Suffering is caused by sinful actions. Sinful actions come from material desires. And material desires come because of ignorance. That's why I say, if you read the book, if you read Prabhupada's books 2 hours a day, it will take away the ignorance. It's very good for us to take away the ignorance. Read the books. Go ahead, Prabhu.
2 kinds of sinful reaction. Aparadham bhavet papam, paradham cheti tad daiva dvidha. Dr. Asamita Sindhu.
Okay, 2 kinds of sinful reaction. One kind, aparabdam. Aparabdam means immature or unmanifested. Right? Can you see it? If it's immature, if it's unmanifested? Lila Avatar?
No.
No, right. You cannot see it. You understand me, Lynn?
Yes, understand.
2 kinds of sinful reaction. One kind of aparabdam. It's not manifest. It's immature. We cannot see it yet. And the other kind is called parabdam. Parabdam. And that is manifest. You can see it mature. Just like, what is the sign of some sinful reaction? Have you seen any sinful reaction in anybody before? You have all seen. Of course you have all seen. Give me an example. Sinful reactions. Mataji, what is this Mataji's name? Mataji Naga Shobhamai.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Can you give me an example, please, about a sinful reaction which is parabdam? How will it be manifest?
Yeah, maybe some defects in the human body.
Yes, right. Give an example.
Somebody is born blind, or somebody is born crippled.
Yes, right. That is an example of sinful reactions which are parabdam. Right? They may be invalid, they may be crippled. Another example. Sitala. Give another example.
If anybody doing the bad things, then this man will catch it.
No. That will get him. That will bring reactions. But I want to know, what are the signs that they've already got reactions?
Maharaj, poverty and ugly features.
Yes, somebody's poverty, no money, very poor. This is a sign, parabdam, sinful reactions. Why is somebody very poor, no money? It is due to sinful past, right? So somebody has no money. So what's another sign?
Ugly bodily features.
Yes. Somebody, ugly bodily features, not good looking. This is prarabdha karma. This is the sign. And somebody else, no education. Prarabdha karma. Right? No education. These are the signs generally. So, when it's manifest, we'll see that. But sinful reactions can also be unmanifest. We have two kinds of sinful reactions. Some we're suffering from just now. Some we're suffering, and others that we're going to suffer in the future. We're going to suffer in the future. It will become manifest. Just like you put the seed in the ground, but it didn't grow yet. But it's in the ground, it's going to grow. It just takes some time. Yeah?
Yes.
You understand me, Lynn?
Yes, yes. And I have a question. How can we to remove these seeds? If we have the sinful seeds, it didn't become mature. But now we know we have do some sinful we have sinful seeds. And how can we to remove? How can we to don't like it mature? It's possible.
We will ask Sitala how to remove the seeds of sinful reaction.
Devotional service.
Very good. Yes. Right. We have to do devotional.
I have a question. But we are not pure devotee. But we have the desire to do devotion. But we are not pure devotion.
So,
Will we, through the devotional service, can remove our sinful seeds?
yes. You have to become a pure devotee. Right? You're not pure devotee. You have to become a pure devotee. If you're not pure, then you'll keep suffering.
Yes.
Do you want to keep suffering?
No.
Then we have to become pure devotees.
Okay.
Right? All the devotees are pure devotees. If they follow, you have to follow the process. You have to do everything you're supposed to do. You have to chant, you have to read, you have to worship. We have to do everything. Okay, Prabhu, read Prabhu.
Sinful activities are of two types or of two kinds. Those that are mature and those which are not mature. The sinful activities for which we are suffering at present moment are called mature. The many sinful activities stored within us for which we have not yet suffered are considered immature. The Nectar of Devotion NOD, chapter 1, Relief from Material Distress, paragraph 1.
Okay, many sinful activities stored within us. We have not yet suffered yet, but they're there within us. So in the future, we will get the reactions. Right?
Maharaj, that means in future, either in this birth or in the next.
Yes. Right. In the future. We don't know. Just like when you plant seeds in the land, when you plant seeds, some grow quick and some take a long time to grow. So the sinful reactions are like that. Some reactions come very quick and some take a longer time. Okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
Maharaj, can these unmanifested sinful activities be avoided by devotional service?
Well, They're unmanifested sinful activities means they're already there. The question is how to counteract them.
Yes, Maharaj.
Right? I mean, you say how they can be avoided. How they can be... You avoid sinful reactions by not doing sin. Right? We explained what is sin. Sinful activities. We do activities against the scriptures, then we get sinful reactions.
Yes, Maharaj.
So we have to follow the scriptures. We have to do what we're supposed to do. We have to chant. We have to follow the process. If you engage in devotional service, you don't get sinful reactions. Right?
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
So you want to avoid them. That's what you do. And if there, of course, some are already there, you want to counteract the effect of them. And we counteract the effect of the sinful reactions by devotional service. So in both cases, you have to do devotional service. But it should be pure devotional service. It should be devotional service without material desire. All right, here we're going to see how to destroy the parabdha reactions. Parabdha means already, it's already visible. Just like I have a very low birth. I have a low birth. I am born in the Western country. I am born in a non-Vedic society. I am not born a devotee. So I have a low birth. I am not born in the Vaishnava culture. I was brought up in a sinful country. Everybody is a meat eater, drunkard, everybody does so many sins. So I have a lot of parabdha reactions. Parabdha means the birth. But birth is not very good, not very good looking, not very healthy, not very educated, not very rich. Right? Like that. This is parabdha, karma. This is my reaction. So how to destroy that? Can we change that? Here is the verse. This is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, a famous verse, an important verse. It says you can destroy the reactions of sins. Yannama deha shravananu kirtanad yat pranavadyat smaranadapi kvajit swadyopi sadhya savanaya kalpate kutapunaste bhagavannu darshanat. Right? This is the verse. Here's the translation. This verse is spoken by a lady, Devahuti. You see in the picture? You know who this is? Who's speaking? Kapil Muni. Who's he speaking to?
To his mother.
Devahuti.
Devahuti, right. So Devahuti spoke this verse. She said, even a person born in a family of dog eaters. Well, my family were not dog eaters, but they ate a lot of other things besides dogs. They ate all kinds of animal flesh. So even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform a Vedic sacrifice. Now, who usually performs a Vedic sacrifice? It should be a Brahmana to do the Vedic. So even though you're born, you may have a low birth in a family eating dog, but you can do the Vedic sacrifice. How? If he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, and even remembers him. Right? So you may say, well, I chanted the holy name. But remember, you have to chant the name pure, without offense. If you chant the name pure, then you can do it. Alright? This is how you destroy sin. Chanting the name, hearing about Krishna, offering obeisances to Krishna, and remembering Him. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Destroying aparabdha reactions. My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire which can burn into ashes unlimited fuels supplied to it.
This is aparabdha karma. Aparabdha means not yet visible. It's still in the form of seeds. It didn't come, you can't see it yet, but it's there. It's there. And in the future it will come. So how to remove it? By, it said here, by devotional service. Devotional service is like the blazing fire, burns to ashes, the fuel. Right? If you have petrol, you put the fire, then it will all burn. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Persons who are completely engaged in the devotional service of the Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, becomes completely extinct from all sorts of vicious reactions which either potential, germinating, seedling, or current by a gradual process.
All right. So different stages of seed. You see? We completely engage in devotional service. So the reactions are there in different stages. Potential, germinating, seedling, or current. These are the different stage of reactions. Okay? Going ahead.
The vices in their different stages of development are analyzed herein. Falun mukham vice is that which we may be undergoing at the present stage of life. Bijam vice is in the seedling process by our desires of different types. Kutam is the prior to the stage of bijam, that is in the germinating state. Aparabdha is the fountain source of all, and from this storehouse of vicious life all other stages develop, and all these stages of vicious life becomes at once switched off by adoption of the devotional service.
Jai. All the stages, there's different stages, you see? There's bijam, kutam, aparabdha, falanmukam, all these different stages, they're all stopped by devotional service. So we get rid of sinful reactions. Go ahead.
It appears that the process of extinction goes under gradual process, but actually it is stopped at once. The example of switching off an electric fan is quite suitable here. The running fan, after being switched off, runs also for a few seconds by the dint of original force, but actually the power of the movement is already stopped.
Right? Did you feel that when you became a devotee? That your karma all stopped? All your reactions? You didn't feel that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Well, not immediately, but gradually, yeah. It stopped, but the fan still runs a bit. It's still running, but it's already stopped. Okay, here's a nice diagram. Oh, wait. Sinful action, right? Papam, the sinful actions. So two types of sinful actions. One is the parabdha and the other is the aparabdha. Parabdha means not yet manifest. And the aparabdha, on the parab, this is the parab, this is oh, these are both unmanifest, right? Alright, sinful action. We've got parabdha, unmanifest. Both unmanifest. There's two kinds. So parabdha, it becomes, first it's unmanifest, and then it becomes manifest. It becomes parabdha. And this one, it doesn't immediately become manifest. It's kutam, indirect suffering. Indirect, increased sinful proclivity. Increased sinful proclivity means you start to think more about sinful activities. You start to think more, you're more interested in doing sinful things. Before you didn't think about it, but somehow then you start to think more about doing sinful things. So that is kutam. Okay, so sinful activity, papam, sin. You get first aparabdha, unmanifest reaction. And then from the unmanifest reaction, it becomes manifest. You see it, parabdha, right? You did the sin, you got some reaction, and it wasn't manifest, then it became manifest. And then, on the other hand, this side, kutam. You start to think about doing sins. And then you get the desire to actually do sins. Right? And when you get the desire to do sins, then you do it. You see the chain? It goes like that. Kutam, bijam, and then papam. Sinful activity. So it all comes about like that. Okay, here's the diagram from the book. Avidya, ignorance. The initial cause is ignorance. And the initial cause of ignorance causes sinful desire. Right? You see, comes in here, desire. You have a desire, and then you do sinful activity, and you do sinful activity, you get the reaction. First it's subtle, and then it becomes manifest here, and then suffering. But then also, you have more desire to do sinful activity. You do sin, just like people, they take drugs. They take drugs, and then they want to take more drugs. And then they have the desire to get more drugs, and it goes on a circle. They don't stop. They don't just take drug one time. They want to take more and more. And alcohol is like that also. You go drinking, you want more. You want more sins, more. It doesn't stop. It's a circle. You keep going, you get caught up. So much suffering. So this is the result. Read.
Material desires. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations.
So somebody may think, I will do fasting, I will give charity, I will practice celibacy. These things you may do these things. It may be pious to do that. But it doesn't take away the material desire. The material desire will still be there. But if we surrender to Krishna, then you get free quickly of all the contamination.
material desires. What two examples does Prabhupada use to describe the failure of other process to free one from material desire? What two examples? This
Okay, who knows the answer to this question?
two examples.
What two examples does Prabhupada use to describe the failure of other processes to free us from material desire?
One is Maharaj, elephant betting of the elephant.
Yes, right.
And
The
another
bathing.
is thief.
Huh?
Another is thief.
The other is what?
Thief.
What happens?
He steals, but then he goes to jail. He comes out again steals.
Okay. So the first one is the elephant, the bathing of the elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sinful desire state can be removed only by achieving Krishna consciousness, and this can be accomplished very easily by chanting the Maha Mantra or Hare Krishna mantra as recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So sinful desire seed. How do we take out the desire for sin? By Krishna consciousness, by chanting Hare Krishna. That is the point. We have to chant nicely.
The bhaktas, by their transcendental devotional service unto the lotus feet of the Lord, become so overwhelmed with transcendental bliss that automatically their desires of material enjoyment stop. Desires for fruitive activities are strongly rooted, but the trees of the desire can be uprooted completely by devotional service because devotional service employs superior desire.
Okay, so devotional service means superior desire. There's material desire and spiritual desire. So the devotees, they have spiritual desire. Their desire is for the service of Krishna. So this is stronger than material desires.
Ignorance. Sanat Kumar says, "My dear king, the false ego of human being is so strong that it keeps him in material existence as if tied up by a strong rope. Only the devotees can cut off the knot of this strong rope very easily by engaging themselves in Krishna consciousness. Others who are not in Krishna consciousness but are trying to become great mystic or great ritual performers cannot advance like the devotees. Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to engage himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness in order to be freed from the tight knot of false ego and engagement in the material activities."
All right, very good. So this is how we get rid of ignorance, by engaging in Krishna consciousness.
This tight knot of false ego is due to ignorance. As long as one is ignorant about his identity, he is sure to act wrongly and thereby become entangled in material contamination.
Material contamination, yes. So ignorant about our identity. If we think I'm the body, then we will act wrong. And the result of acting wrongly, we get material contamination. The contamination, false ego. False ego, right? And that is due to ignorance. So very important.
But Maharaj, the number of ignorant people are so high, means,
Yes.
and they don't want to listen to this.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. There are many snakes on the ground of the forest, and when a fire takes place, it burns the dried foliage and the snakes are immediately attacked. Similarly, the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness is so strong that the snake of ignorance are immediately killed.
You understand this example?
Yes, yes, yes.
When there's a fire, so the snakes, they cannot run. They have to go on the ground. But the fire is on the ground, everything is burning. So the snakes are going to get killed. So the snakes are like what? What do the snakes, what do they represent?
Ignorance.
Yes, the snakes of ignorance, material desires are ignorance. They're immediately killed by the fire. Okay, so here's the overview. Klesh Agni. Klesh Agni means relief from material distress. Why are we getting material distress? It's because of our sinful past. Because we did bad things in the past. Therefore we're getting reactions. So papam, sinful reactions. We have sinful reactions. And the sinful reactions are in two stages. Parabdha means you can see them, they're manifest. But parabdha karma can be removed by chanting Hare Krishna, by remembering Krishna, by offering obeisances, by doing some devotional service for Krishna. The Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, 33rd verse, 33rd chapter, 3rd canto, 33rd chapter, sloka number 6, tells us Devahuti's words speaking to Lord Kapila. How? By doing devotional service, all of our sinful reactions can be destroyed. And then for the aparabdha karma is subtle. It's not yet manifest, but it's there, but it's not manifest. So the example was given about the blazing fire. Blazing fire will burn to ashes, unlimited amounts of fuel. And that's told in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, sloka 19. And then the Padma Purana tells us about the 4 stages of sin that are vanquished. What are the 4 stages of sin? Who knows? Shobhamai? Shobhamai?
Maharaj?
Yes?
Yes, Maharaj. I can try, Maharaj. So, one is what we may be undergoing currently in this present stage of life. And second one is Bijam, where the seedling has been put, and it is still in the seed stage. And before that, in the germinating stage, we saw the Kutam stage, and finally, I think Aprarabdha. Aprarabdha is the which is not yet manifest.
Yes, right. Very good. Yes. Good, you've learned them.
Thank you.
The 4 stages. Aparabdham, the unmanifest stage of sin. And then the Kutam stage, where there's an increase in the proclivity. Means you begin to show a little interest in the things. Just like in the beginning, you never thought about taking drugs or doing anything bad, but sometimes you get affected, bad association, and they say, come with us, we're going to go and take drugs, we're going to go and drink, we're going to do bad things. So you get involved. So that is the Kutam. Kutam leads to Bijam. Bijam is the seed. And then Parabdha, where the action becomes manifest, sinful reactions. Okay, Bijam, material desires. Srimad Bhagavatam, Ajamila, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, text 17. Ajamila tells us how to get free of material desires by chanting the holy name. Simply by chanting the holy name, we can counteract all the material desires. 2 examples are there. One is venereal disease. Sometimes people, they're very lusty. They're very lusty, they want sex. And when they have sex and they get disease, they get the venereal disease. And when you get venereal disease, then it will be very painful and you'll suffer a lot and you have to go to doctor and it's very embarrassing and you have to get treated and you feel very ashamed. You're so lusty, you got this venereal disease. So people gradually, they may get cured, but then they still want sex. The desire doesn't go away. The desire doesn't go away. So, again, they get involved. So this way, this is the way of material desires. They don't stop. One desire, another desire, another desire. And the other example is the elephant taking the bath in the water, throwing the dirt over itself. It gets clean. If we see in Mayapur, we have 2 elephants, you can see they get bathed, the men will bathe them, and they get nice and clean. After they get clean, then they throw the dirt over themselves, or they roll in the dirt. So that's elephant bathing. So people do like that. They do some sinful activity, and then they come to Mayapur, they give some charity, they may give donation, they may chant even Hare Krishna, and then they go away, and they go and do more sinful activity. And then next month they come again to Mayapur. And again they do some pious activity, and then they go back and do more sins. So like that. Remember we spoke about that yesterday? We called it Bhoga Tyaga. Bhoga Tyaga. Bhoga enjoying and then renouncing. Like that. So people try to enjoy, they do some sinful activities, then they try to counteract it by pious activity. So what they should do devotional service. They should take up devotional service, and then they can stop all their sin. Alright, and then avidya, ignorance. Ignorance. That's described Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 22nd chapter, text number 39. Avidya. Let's go back to see that one again. Yes, about ignorance here. Here. Ignorance.
Ignorance become great mystics or great ritual performers cannot advance like the devotees. Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to engage himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness in order to be freed from the tight knot of false ego and engagement in the material activities.
Yes. To get freed of the false ego, we have to engage in Krishna conscious activities. Okay, so that was the 4th canto. Then also Padma Purana gives the example, analogy. Blazing fire kills the snake of ignorance. When there's a fire in the forest, all the snakes will be burned. So the ignorance will all be burned by devotional service. Devotional service is like the fire. It burns up the snake of ignorance. Right? Yes?
Yes.
Best means of obtaining relief from distress. Devotional service, therefore, has the power to actually nullify all kinds of reactions to sinful deeds. This sinful desire, seed, can be removed only by achieving Krishna consciousness.
Yes. So that this sinful desire can be taken away, can be removed by Krishna consciousness, by devotional service.
Krishna consciousness is so strong that the snake of ignorance are immediately killed.
Jai.
It is the only process that can counteract all three causes.
What are the three causes? The causes of what? Counteract all three causes. Counteract all three causes.
Three causes of misery, Three causes of misery, like Adi, Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika.
Yeah, it could be. It could
Three
be.
causes of suffering, that
Three causes
the
of-
reactions,
yes.
Papam, Bijam and Avidya.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's it. The three causes of suffering. The three causes of suffering. The Kutam, Bijam, and Aparabdha. Or material desire, sinful desire, sinful activities, and ignorance. And they're all the causes of suffering. All right, so what did we do today? We looked at the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service and at what stage they manifest, right? We said first there is relief from distress and the beginning of auspiciousness. At what stage does that manifest?
Sadhana Bhakti.
Sadhana Bhakti. And then we added 2 more. We talked about derived the concept of liberation and rarely achieved. And that will manifest at the stage of?
Bhava.
Bhava Bhakti. And then there's 2 more. The only means to attract Krishna and immediately puts one in transcendental ecstasy.
Prema Bhakti.
Prema Bhakti, right. So there's three stages of pure devotional service. It's all pure devotional service. Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti, right? And at the different stages, you get different things happen.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yes?
So Maharaj, I had a question, like how someone makes progress? Like suppose someone starts sadhana bhakti, then after completion of sadhana bhakti, he moves to bhava bhakti and then to prema bhakti. Like completing every step and then moving to next step, like mixing up other 3 steps, that is also possible. Like someone can be performing sadhana bhakti but having symptoms of bhava bhakti and prema bhakti also. Is this possible, Maharaj?
Well, usually it takes a long time to perfect, to get through sadhana bhakti. Actually, we'll hear there's 2 kinds of sadhana bhakti. There's devotional service in practice, according to the rules and regulations. And then there's devotional service in practice, which is spontaneous. So, to get through sadhana bhakti, it doesn't happen. It's not like you do sadhana bhakti for 6 months or 6 years, and then you'll be in bhava bhakti. It's not like that. It will be different for different people. So we're going to explain the different stages, what happens at bhava bhakti. We'll hear bhava bhakti comes at the end. After, at the end of this class, we'll hear about bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. what are the symptoms. But first you have to do practice. You have to do the devotional service and practice. Then you come to Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. So you do the practice first. You do that. If you do that well, then after some time you will come to Bhava Bhakti. But you don't know how long it will take. There's no telling. Okay, then we talked about the term Klesh Agni. Klesha means suffering, and Agni means to put out, to stop the suffering. And then the 4 kinds of effects of sin. 4 kinds of effects of sin. What were they? Yeah? 4 kinds of effects of sin. What are they?
Papam, Bijam, Kutam, and Avidya.
Papam, Bijam, Kutam, and
Prarabdha.
Yeah, right. And devotional service has the power to nullify all the sinful reactions. So if you do devotional service, it can change can stop all the sinful reactions. That is the power. And why devotional service is the best means? Why is it the best means to get relief from distress? Because none of the other processes will help to get us free completely from all the different stages of sin. All the different stages of sin are removed by devotional service. It's the only way to get rid of all the sinful reactions. Some processes, like if you do charity, that will get you free for a little while. But it won't get you free from all the sinful reactions. But devotional service will get you free from all the... Okay, read that, Prabhu. Sudarshan? Haribol?
I think he's losing on.
Oh, can I read that?
Go ahead, read. Yes, go ahead.
Material contamination is very subtle. Its beginning is fruital and results, and how one suffers such results is the form of distress are part of great change. When one catches some disease, it is often very difficult to ascertain the cause of the disease. The practical injection to stop all the fructifications of the seeds of our sinful activities is simply engagement in Krishna consciousness.
Okay, very good. The practical injection, right? The injection to stop all the seeds, Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.
All right, any questions? Anybody? Anybody has any questions? Narayani, any questions?
No, Maharaj.
Maharaj, I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu. What's your name?
Bhaktavatsala Narasimhadev Das.
Okay, Vatsal Nrsingadev Prabhu.
Bhaktavatsala.
Bhaktavatsal Nrsingadev, okay.
I was wondering if this avidya ignorance is different from the tamaguna ignorance, the 3 modes of material nature ignorance.
That is ignorance. Tamagun, yeah, the same. Yeah. It's the 3 modes of ignorance. The false ego, the ahankar. Yes, that is tamagun, the ignorance. So we get free of it, right? The false ego is very strong, but that false ego can be removed by devotional service. Simply by doing... Yeah?
I have a question. It's about the how example of Ajamila. I come to understand about Ajamila, where Ajamila can get the liberation at the end of his life. It's only because his son is called Narayana, so he gets the liberation at the end of his life. If we have the children and our children is also called the Lord's name, and also can we get liberation at the end of our life? So I can't understand why Ajamila gets the liberation at life. And he abandoned his wife. He got married with a prostitute. He got married with another woman. He abandoned his wife. But at last he gets the liberation. It's only because his son is called Narayana. So this is my question. I can't understand why.
Well, what happened was he got free of his sinful reactions because he called the name Narayan. But you see, when he was calling the name of his son, he wasn't thinking that he's calling the name of God. He wasn't thinking like that. He didn't call his son Narayan just because it was the name of God. He just gave him that name. He thought, okay, you give him that name, you know. And he would always call the name of the son because that was his youngest son. And so it happened when he was supposed to die, and so the Yamadutas came to take him, but then he remembered his son, and he called for his son because the Yamadutas were very frightening, so he was afraid. So he called for his son to come and save him. And he called, and then at that time, because he was a Brahmana, you see, when he was a young man, he was a Brahmana, and he had a good wife. And he used to be a very pious man, and he used to worship even Shalagram. But he forgot everything, and he became very fallen and very sinful. He forgot everything, but then, at the time of death, when he was supposed to die, somehow he remembered about his past. And he remembered everything about his past. And so that, because he called Narayan, so Lord Narayan came. Lord Narayan's servants came. Lord Narayan didn't come, but his servants, the Vishnu Dutas, the servants of Lord Narayan, they came. And they told the Yamadutas, they told the servants of Yamaraj that you cannot take this man because he chanted the name of Lord Narayan. So they said he's already free of all sins. So he destroyed all of his sins by chanting, because his chanting was not completely pure, but it was not offensive. He wasn't chanting the name just to get free of sin. So his chanting was in the middle stage. It was namabhas. So he got freed of sinful reactions. And because he got free of sinful reactions, so he decided, because he was an old man, so he knew he didn't have long to live. He was supposed to die that time, but somehow he was saved. So he thought better he should go. He left the home. He left that woman. The woman was not a very good woman. She was a low-class woman, you know. She was a prostitute, as you said. She was low class. And so he left her, and he went to a holy place. And he went to Hardwar, and he stayed in a Vishnu temple. And he stayed there, and he served he did service, and then he gave up his body on the bank of the Ganga. He gave up his body at the bank of Ganga, and then he went back to Godhead. So it wasn't just he chanted the name of his son, but after he chanted the name of his son, then he decided he has to go away, he has to stop all the sin. He has to stop all the bad things he was doing, had to stop all the sex he was having with his wife. He was an old man, and he was still having sex with his wife, and they had a young child. and they had many children. He used to steal, and he used to gamble, he used to do many sinful things. So he had to leave all that, and he went away to a holy place. He stayed in the temple, and he got purified, and then he went back to Godhead.
Okay.
Yes? Yes?
Maharaj, I had a question from previous section.
Yeah?
We analyzed Maharaj pure bhakti in two categories, like Swarup Lakshan and Tatash Lakshana. So Maharaj, Swarup Lakshana was that
Swarupa.
Anukulyana Krishna Anusinam. Serving Krishna favorably. So Maharaj, can we conclude that if we focus on this Swarup Lakshana aspect, then automatically we will become free from Jnana, Karma and other material desires? We can conclude like that?
Yes. Yes, pretty much. Yeah, you have to be careful because jnana and karma, material desires, can come. They can still come. They're very subtle. So we may cheat ourselves. We may think, oh, I'm doing pure devotional service. I'm doing this for Krishna. But you still have material desires. So we may even think, I want liberation. We think, I want to get liberation. And that is jnana. You see? So you have to be careful. We have to know about it.
Okay, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
Subtle desires can come. Yes?
Yes, Maharaj.
All right, any other question? Okay, we'll see everyone tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Go back to Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.